What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, tuning in, staying tuned. Don't forget that every day you are awesome and amazing. I want to thank you for being that. And don't forget that only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. Today, we're going to be getting into something we normally don't get into here at the channel, and that's late night television. And Um, the reason why we're bringing that up today is because Stephen Colbert and the late night show is going to be done. They're in their last season and they're not being renewed. And that's causing a tizzy for a lot of different people. They're, of course, blaming politics. They're, of course, blaming Trump. They're blaming things that may not necessarily want to even admit that there is of their own doing, so to speak, right? And I have to say that I'm pretty not shocked, but the days of late night television have not been what they used to be, guys. Let's be honest here. With the decades of Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, right? Joan Rivers was even a late night show host. Uh, Robert Downey, right? The guy without smoke on stage. At some point, late night television was a staple in a lot of people's homes. There would be debates on who was better, Carson or Letterman, Leno or Letterman, right? When Carson stepped out, who's going to be the new Tonight Show host? That was a big stepping stone for a lot of people. And this show was definitely a staple of people's homes. Airing out of the Ed Sullivan Theater, right? And initially, if I'm getting this wrong, let me know down below, guys. I think that initially, Joan Rivers on Fox TV had the first late show um, back October 9th, 1986. I don't know how true that is. In conjunction then to David Letterman having it having the late show from 1993 to 2015, and that was around the time Stephen Colbert was able to take control of the show. Stephen Colbert, of course, you know him better from his starts on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. I had always found him to be pretty funny on that show, and I still, even on occasion, find him funny to this day. Now, out of the three hosts that are out there, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and Jimmy Fallon, my personal favorite is Jimmy Fallon, okay? And I still don't even really watch The Tonight Show like that. There might be a couple of times over the years where I felt like I wanted to see something off of that show, right? But it hasn't been any time recently. And a lot of people are looking to blame certain things that are not this, the show itself, right? But Paramount and Skydance Entertainment are currently in a merger. And part of the issue is that Stephen Colbert seemed to kind of talk nonsense about the merger. And with any merger of multi-billion dollar companies or multi-million dollar companies, one of the first things to do is to look for things to cut costs, right? And with Stephen Colbert running his mouth, he kind of put his foot in it, so to speak, in some ways. And this is again coming from someone who's found him funny over the years. Cost effective reasons for the new people that are coming in. This man makes $15 million a year. Okay. He has a crew of 200 people. Now, be it for me, for anyone to lose their jobs, especially the more of the common man and common woman of the 200 plus crew that works on the show, Stephen Colbert will be fine. $15 million a year, that man should be able to take care of himself until the end of times. Okay. Uh, Believe me. And if anyone out there who's stretched the dollar or two, trying to make a dime out of a nickel when you only got 2 cents, you know what I mean? Stephen Colbert got plenty of 2 cents. Uh, so I think that that is a good combination and a bunch of variables that are coming together to cause this particular thing to happen. Now, in about 10 months, will be the last episode. And Paramount is even, I believe, either sold a studio or a corporate building in New York. And they're even looking to sell the Ed Sullivan Theater, in which the late night show airs out of. And that's been an iconic theater for many decades, right? The Ed Sullivan Theater. And it's kind of letting you know that, times the belts are tightening a little bit. Why spend at least $15 million on a late show when you have the host talking about, and listen, the whole point of the late night shows, so to speak, the Tonight Show and them, there was a time where everyone got roasted, right? The liberals, the conservatives, the left and the right, leading parties, everyone got roasted, right? Nowadays, it seems like there's only uh, one way in which the comedy goes, so to speak, the comedy, and it's not even really comedy anymore. I think that it's really been brought to the forefront ever since the Cactus 99 has come and gone, so to speak. Like there was a skit in which Colbert did um, a COVID-19 dance routine or whatever, and it's like, I don't know, very not funny. And that's kind of when I start really realizing, like, man, late night has been cooked for a while. And then, especially with the emergence of streaming platforms, uh, people who are doing podcasts, YouTube, right? How much room does shows like The Tonight Show and the Late Show have really? When if you pull up some numbers, some YouTubers are probably bringing in more numbers than some of these shows are that are aired by national broadcast companies like ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS and stuff, TNT. Um, there's YouTubes, there's streamers, there's channels, content creators that are getting more views than actual like Hollywood produced shows. And when you're a company looking to cut costs and can realize that you can reach just as many people depending on the podcast or something like that, and not really have to put in so much production value and space, it's only going to be a matter of time where maybe Jimmy Kimmel Live and Jimmy Fallon show, the Tonight Show, will follow suit sooner than we may anticipate, depending on what happens, say, the beginning of 2026 summer, because that's when 10 months will be up, basically near May and June, and that's when we'll get the last Mr. Colbert there. And I, again, not asking really anyone to lose their job, but I think that late night television has gotten too much into worrying about one person, so to speak, uh, the leader of our country. And it's okay to disagree with the President of the United States. It's okay to disagree with our government. Believe me, I'm no big fan of either side. You know what I mean? I think that both sides have equally screwed us citizens over royally in a lot of ways. But that's not what this particular video is about. It's just saying that when you're a public figure and you keep not being a nuanced reporter of headlines and stuff like that, and kind of finding the humor in everything, there is humor in everything, right? When people tune in to Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon, they're looking to escape the world. They're looking to escape reality. That's what we do when we put in a CD or a DVD, right? Old school stuff. When we're putting on a streaming service or something, we're looking to escape from the realities of the world that we have to face as citizens all over the world, right? And we tune into these shows not to be reminded how much the world sucks and the people that are in charge suck. And um, is there no other way to really eh, to express yourself um, in comedy form anymore? It's just really now you turning into a comedy thing and getting talked to and talked down to, and it's like I'd rather just tune into the McLaughlin group. You know what I mean? If I want to talk politics or understand the nuances of politics, you know what I mean? The vast majority of people tuning into these shows are not looking to do that. They're looking to escape the reality of the world. We know the world sucks. We know when the government's lying to us. We know when both sides hide things just as much as the other side. Like both sides really don't care about us too much at the end of the day. And to be honest with you, man, if you were to lose your job today, Stephen Colbert pay your rent. Everyone getting so upset about Mr. Colbert. I'm a fan of his comedy on occasion, but I'm sure he'd be fine. $15 million a year, man, if you can't make it work out after that amount of time that you did that show at $15 million a year, uh, I don't know what to tell you then. You were a fool with your money, sir. That's what I'll tell you. Because I haven't even ever seen $1 million in my life, or at least not in one large sum anyway. Maybe over the 20 years of my life, 25 years or whatever of my life working, maybe I've accumulated $1 million, but I'd like to know where that went to. you know, um, yeah, I just think that it's a big shock. I think when it comes to certain staples in television history that have been around for so long, so many decades, so that there are citizens that will fall asleep tonight in America to one of these shows being on in the background, and you're falling asleep on your couch, on your Barker recliner, or your bed, as you're chit chatting with your loved one, and fall asleep to the show, and then wake up in the middle of the night to an infomercial, and you shut your TV off. I understand that. I don't think that this has much to do with politics so much. I mean, talking a lot of nonsense and putting your foot in your mouth, I think sometimes is a real thing, and we've all been guilty of it. I know I have. But I think that we've gotten to a time with content creation that we may not necessarily need these late night shows anymore. And I don't know what they're going to do because they're like canceling it. They're not even finding another host or anything like that. So I think what's going to wind up happening, if it doesn't happen between now and the show ending, I think that the companies who let Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon ride with their shows, they're going to see how the network goes without the Stephen Colbert show, right? The late night show. And if it doesn't hurt the network too bad, I wouldn't be surprised seeing Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon losing their show in time too. And again, I'm not looking for people to lose their job, but I think that with a combination of lacking viewers, uh, no nuanced presentation to their jokes, and only kind of sticking to one person mainly with their joke telling and stuff like that. I think that it's changed a lot, and I think people are just tired of always hearing about one person when it's this whole government that's goofy and should be pointed at and laughed at and asked what's going on. Because some of these shows have blatantly bypassed facts, even, or try to convolute things to make their narrative better, and I think that's also hurt them. Um, People are allowed to express what they want to express, right? Especially in a country of free speech, but it doesn't mean free of consequences, right? As much as we've learned for both sides, right? Both sides have to get consequences, and this is Stephen Colbert's consequence. If you would have just concentrated on bringing great comedy to the masses, maybe, and keeping his real life opinions about political stuff and business stuff to himself, he might have been able to still have a show. I don't know. I'm not a business person, but I do know that in things of mergers like that, they're going to find ways to cut costs. And if you're a rebel rouser that's making $15 million plus a year, you might be on the chopping block. I don't know. That's my opinions on the Late Show getting canceled and possibly these two other shows getting canceled. Let me know down below, though, what you think.